All right, how's it going, guys? So today I'm talking about DOM manipulation using create element, append child, and insert before, remove child, things like that. Apparently, my title there doesn't have spaces, so I'll have to fix that. Do you guys know much about like DOM manipulation?
Yeah,
Uh,
I used a bit of that last week um, for my code. So yeah,
Okay. So basically, what we're looking at now is a DOM. Here's a kind of a picture of what you're looking at in terms of the DOM. So the DOM is what makes up what you're looking at, and it stands for the document object model. So in this case, we've got the window, then the document, which is broken down to HTML, head, title, whatever. Then there's the body, and here's elements like that are in the body. And I've made this little joke here that if we add an element called the fifth, that's the fifth element, just kind of something stupid, but so we can add, with HTML, so like here's an index page, you've got set elements in your page and you can add to that using JavaScript. So in order to add elements, so in this case, you would say document.create element and then give the element a name. So with my joke below, the fifth element, you would go document.create element and then the fifth is the name of that element. So how that might look in a script is like this. So var new element equals document create element the fifth, and then new element dot text content. So we've given it a value, and document body append child. So we're attaching it now to something else, appending it to body. See, that's what we're doing there. So we've attached this element to the body. If we don't specify that and we just create a child, um, if we just do document create the fifth and don't do anything beyond that, then it's floating off here in space and it's not attached to anything. So this allows us to attach it to something where it can be viewable by the window and by the viewer. Makes sense so far?
yeah.
yes.
Okay, so we're going to have a bit of fun with messing around with that a little bit. And there's a really cool tutorial here on that. This is, I'm not sure if you are aware of this website, but it's a great website. And it goes over a lot of that stuff. I actually got my graphic here from that. I changed it a little bit, added the fifth part. They had something else there. But so that this image comes from there. So, but they've got some really cool stuff on there. And I've got a link on my page to that. So if you're curious about that, it's really cool. So at the same time, we can also remove elements. So like, let's say you have a form and someone enters that, I don't know, let's say it's a health form and someone's entering information, like their medical information. If it's let's say it's a male, then you might remove questions related to pregnancy. So you can remove an element by specifying similar to the other one, like here we've got create element, it's remove child, new element. So this is the object, which is here, and we're removing the child known as new element, which is this variable we've created here. So this is a continuation of that. First, we would have to specify what that element is. You could put it just in quotations. You could just say something like quotations the fifth, and then it would be document body dot remove child the fifth. So it's real simple.
Mm.
So we're removing it from this object. That's important too. So if we put document.head remove child, it wouldn't work because there is no child of head that is this. So this element here belongs to body and not head. And similarly, it
Mm.
could be attached to a div or something like that and things like that. So you can remove more specifically objects based on what's here. With me so far?
Yeah.
Cool. At the same time, we can clone elements. So it's pretty self-explanatory. If we want to make something, we can make two of it. So I've done a little bit of just demo code here. Let's say I have this here called share. This is my div called share, which is up here, and I want to clone it. What I would do is variable share equals document query selector dot share. So that's the 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 class of that object. So you can also select not just an ID, but see a class. That's what you would use in like in HTML, excuse me, in CSS. So .share is the class of that object. So I've copied the object with the class of .share or of just share. And so share clone is share.clone node false, which false means only clone this. And then document query selector, and here's my div ID of footer. So I'm attaching share clone. So it puts it underneath the other one. So we can see here our class of share, and then we add another one, share clone. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So just a quick question on that one. So if you leave that clone node, say you set it to true, is it gonna copy other elements as well in the DOM?
I think it, from what I understand, it copies all children of that, and that can be pretty messy. So you just want to copy the elements that are inside of that class. So, um,
Mm,
if that makes sense. So share.clone node. So, yeah, from what I understand, there's more on that tutorial that I was telling you about from Karupa. Let me go quickly look at that. I'm going to change that. I don't like the yellow. So let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay, here we are. So, um, uh, false. So, it's a good question. It's been a minute since I've read it.
yeah.
um,
No, no worries.
here we are. So clone node true. So, um, I'm gonna have to look into that one. But I'm pretty sure it works the way I was saying. So, uh, maybe actually I've done it wrong here. That if you clone it, you only clone it and not its children. So let me go back down. So
Hmm.
here, clone node false probably just clones this div, but this div has these two objects in it, so it wouldn't clone anything that's at a deeper level. I think that's how I understood it last time, but I'm gonna have to dig into that and look again because I'm not remembering it correctly. But from what I
Okay.
understand, what I remember, that false means just clone what's directly in that object, which is here, and not like what's completely all the way down. Like you could have a div with several layers in, and from what I understand, this is just how it works here. But I'm gonna have to look
Hmm.
at that. I don't remember. It's been a minute since I read that. I've slept since then.
Okay. No worries.
But that tutorial there goes over all of that in great detail. I'm gonna have to go back and read that again because I clearly don't remember that part. See, I only put that as like a minor footnote. Anyway, so so let's go back into what I was saying. So looks something like this when done correctly. So it will create it, and here's that second element here right below it. So looking at the code again, we notice the cloned element was added or appended to the footer using append child. Its uses are not limited to cloning, but otherwise it's pretty self-explanatory. So the
Hmm.
native function of insert before will allow you to put more to move an element before something else. So um, in our case, if we look up here again, we got three elements here. There's three elements in here, and we can select an element to put it before. So there is no put after, from what I understand, but there's a little bit of a hack on that. So um, so where are we? If I wanted, yeah, so before the heading, I would use this code. So if you want to put it before heading 1, you do this. Hey, Kimmy. We were just kind of going through it. I can backtrack a little bit for you, but essentially I was just going over the DOM elements and so forth. I've got the DOM model here, and essentially we're talking about adding and creating elements. So um, it'll be in the video, so you can check up on what you missed if that's okay. Anyway, um, so yeah, from what I understand, you can only insert elements before something and not necessarily after something. And so there's a little bit of a hack you have to do in order to put something after something else. So like, let me check it here. Not that one. So there we go. So in order to put it after something, we can call it on the parent. So um, here we are. So where are we? Insert before new element, script element. So we can put it before that by doing that. So insert after is a bit of a hack. Um, and it kind of goes over how to do that in here, but that tutorial I'll link with the video when we're done. So putting it all together, I made a cool little elaborate thing here, and I wanted to go over it. So I've added a cool little thing here, and if I do this, it'll cycle through different programming languages. Let's remove them all, and I can add them. I can insert before. What's going on there? Insert before is not working. Oh, that's why I don't have this. I just added that at the end there. I was messing around and added a new way to add things. That should work now. Nope. There we go. So yeah, I added a thing here. So now we can do like SQL. If we wanted to add SQL before, add item, insert before, whatever. You can really do some cool stuff with adding elements. So what I'm doing here, let me go over the code here. So this here, we're first checking if I have an input, which I don't right now. If there is an input, then I've added .5 so that because I've got 1 through 4, and then I just add whatever it is. So SQL add item, so it adds the 5 by itself. So if there is something in that field, put in that field only. Otherwise, cycle through 1 through 4, which is CSS, HTML, JSON, and JavaScript. And so down here, what I've done is I'm storing that value in session storage just to make sure I keep up with it. So if I hit refresh on the page, I'll keep it. But so list element is a document create element, li, and then add document create text node, and X is these things here. So creating a text node of that, and then list element, which is this, append child add. So we're adding this to the parent, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So each one of these is a list item, and we're adding text to those list items, which is these values that are in here. So if I do add item, it's going to add that. Let's clear that. Add item 1, it's going to go, V is going to change to 3, 4, 1, etc. I can insert it before, so it's going to be, the next one will be CSS, so if I do insert before, it'll go above, 2, 3, 4. It's really cool. Remove item that works the same way. I'm just removing from the bottom of the list, but you can change it to remove from the top if you really want to, but it's just a little bit more complicated. Any questions?
No.
Okay.
No, none of my side as well.
Cool. So, other than that, that's all I had on that. But I'm gonna have to go back and check on that cloning thing because now I don't remember.
No worries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always
Thanks a
one.
lot, Steve. This is awesome.
Yeah. So, I'll give you guys a link to here so you can go through my text. I did this write up for my competency, so it's all here, and there's a link to that there. I have to change my highlight color. I don't like that yellow anymore. But yeah, so it's all here if you want to go back and look at all of this, and it'll be on this video. But yeah, so that's it. That's DOM manipulation. And thanks for coming up.
Great.